Awesome. Happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. I was doing the math and it has been over a month since I have spoken to you on team training because last week we had our spin meetup for Valentine's and gave us the rest of the night off. The week before that, we had Jared come and pour in, and then we had our Win the Morning panel tell us all about how they are so consistent in their morning routine, and Annie poured into us before that. So it's been a hot minute. I've had a lot of guest speakers taking the mic, and I'm excited to be back tonight. I actually I don't get nervous for team calls, and I'm actually nervous right now. I don't know why. Full transparency. So that just tells me that what I have to say is on my heart, and that I feel like, because I haven't gotten a chance to mama bear pour into you guys in a while, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like you need it. Do you need it? I hope you need it, because I feel like I want to give it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. We're going to talk tonight, you guys, about, the whole title is subtle shifts. And before I even share my screen, I got to look back at you guys again. I plan these Monday nights before I find out what the National Wake Up Call is. I hope you know that. Because I share it on Friday or whatever. And usually I'm thinking about it in advance. And now I've had a whole month to think about what do I want to talk about. And so I usually have that in my head. And then on Sunday, when I get to see what the National Wake Up Call topic is going to be, half the time I'm like, man, I'm on the same wavelength right now with corporate, because sometimes these themes happen to mesh. And I think that this morning's National Wake Up Call is really in alignment with what I wanted to share anyway, about the subtle shifts of going from being on your journey to how do you help other people on their journey. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. That's kind of where we're going to be. So subtle shifts. There's me. Happy to be here, Brittany, in her classroom, barefoot. I want to mention, if you don't know me from many years before, I used to work out completely barefoot all the time. And whenever I had shoes on, people would be like, why are you wearing shoes today, Britt? Because I was always barefoot. It just felt better. But now I am an old lady and my feet don't like to be barefoot anymore because of all the years of being barefoot. So here I am. I digress. But I used to work out barefoot in my classroom. I don't know how that person even had. I look like I'm 12 years old in that picture, but I swear I was in charge of children on a professional level. So in the beginning of my business, I'm going to be transparent completely tonight about a lot of things. And first and foremost, I was not a coach of myself when I started. So already, you phenomenal women that are on this call tonight, y'all are already 1,000 light years ahead of baby Britt when she started her business. Because I like to believe that the coaches that get on these calls on Monday nights, you have a foundation that you've built. And even if right now you're telling yourself, I did have a foundation I built, but I kind of got away from it, you know how to get back to that foundation you built. You know what I mean? At some point, somewhere, you had a foundation. Baby Britt, when I started my business, I wish somebody would have pulled me aside and been like, hey, there's this whole thing of a coach of self. You should just learn how to coach yourself first. That would have probably saved me so many years of frustration. So this is something that the last few years, it really clicked, light bulb moment for me and for my leadership, and just the way I started mentoring people was, we're not discount coaches, and now we have preferred customers, right? But we used to call people discount coaches because we didn't know what to call them, right? And then we started to really realize that, that type of coach, they're really learning how to coach themselves and grooming themselves eventually to potentially coach others. That's the end goal that I would love to see everybody on Inspire do, is create such a solid foundation of coaching yourself that the next natural progression is to coach others. It's just so natural, right? I never realized that was the foundation, even though we have, our vital behaviors, be proof of the products and all this stuff. I just needed somebody to spell it out for me and have a slide like this when I was a newer coach. The coach of self is a very self-focused to-do list. Coaches on Inspire Beauty and coaches and my leaders on this call, when you bring people in, this is what we're trying to get them to do. So even if you're on this call right now and you're like, I know how to do this, Britt, cool. Do you know how to get other people to do it? Right? Because that's the next level. So coaching self is a lot about drinking your Shakeology, energize, recover, basically finding the supplements that you love and being on them and using them the way they're prescribed to be used, right? Shakeology is not prescribed to be used once every month when you remember it. Energize doesn't, Energize clearly works as an afternoon pick-me-up, okay? But it's best used right before your workout. Recover makes no sense if it just sits on a shelf and collects dust. Also, Recover is best used 30 minutes after your workout, within that 30-minute window. Okay, so like when we have clients on their journey and coaches of self too, a lot of times we get stuck in this rut where like we're not, and this was me, like I had to learn how to drink my shake every day. I had to learn how to wake up and make my energy every day because it wasn't a habit when I first began. Working out and getting on Win the Morning is also a self-focused inventory. Picking a program and actually following through start to finish on it, and then knowing where you're at in your journey enough to know what next program would be a natural next step for your progression, right? It makes no sense to do 21-day fix DVDs on repeat and only 21-day fix DVDs on repeat when we now have a live boutique style fitness library that you can sign up for every single day. So if you're a coach on this call and you've been a little old school in your journey, and we're going to be talking a lot about kind of plateauing, and that's the catalyst for this call of like the subtle shifts, because your plateau doesn't mean you have to blow things up. It just might mean a subtle tweak. Maybe your workouts are getting boring because you aren't challenging yourself with new opportunities, right? Another part of coaching self is that 10 minutes of personal development, whether it's book or podcast. That's why the book club is open to everyone, because that's something I believe in. I believe in it actually should be higher on the list than Shakeology and workout, because I think that if your mindset sucks, you're never going to get good about your fitness. You're never going to get solid routine in the kitchen because it's all in your head. It's the limiting beliefs that are holding us back, right? So that 10 minutes of PD is so important. Checking in and creating a habit of how do we check into the bod group? How do we get to be a part of the community? How do we surround ourselves with the offerings of the community is something we're teaching ourselves to do in the beginning, and then passing it along and teaching other people how to do. And then I believe, you could disagree with me, but I think a really smart thing for a coach of self, preferred customer, to do is to post their journey on social, just for themselves, just for their own added accountability, right? Okay, so that's the self-focused to-do list. And I'm going to tell you something tonight. The 12 of you that are on right now, y'all rock this. Y'all rock this. Okay? The next list is how we coach others. This is an others-focused to-do list. Okay? So this self foundation, this coach of self, that's all of you. That's gut checks for all of you. But now this is, like I said, the next level of like, okay, where do I go next? And this is when we start to shift our focus to other people. We don't just do our Shakeology or our Energize. We help others fall in love with our supplements and their benefits. We help others create consistency in their journey because we've first created consistency in our journey. We help others grow. So it's no longer about me getting on book club and making sure I'm on book club, but how do I tell my people to get on book club? How do I help elevate others? How do I remind my people that Brittany gives a podcast playlist every stinking week on Sunday, and we can all grow together each week with these podcasts, right? By the way, handpicked. That's not made by anyone else, y'all. I go out and I handpick those podcasts for what I believe we need to hear, what I believe needs to be poured between your ears. Handpicked. So help others grow. And go back. Are you listening to those? Are you coaching yourself? Encouraging and educating others on their journey. So it's not just about checking into your bod group and your community. Some of y'all are amazing at that. The next level is, are you encouraging other people? And are you educating other people on their journey? And then it's no longer just about posting your journey on social, but it's inspiring others on social media with your journey. You guys, it's the same list. It's a different focus. Same list, different focus. So here's my gut check. What is your focus? And you might be like, Brittany, it's others. I told you my goal is to hit SC. My goal is to, get somebody with the mix bike while it's on promo. It's others based. But here's the thing. If you're struggling to get others to join you, this is my gut check. Chances are you've made this all about you. You look and act like a customer. There was a national wake-up call, I think, maybe national wake-up call, maybe, I don't know. It was some professional level development. And the person speaking said that there's this list here is not a coach, because our challengers, anyone who gets a challenge pack can do that list. Anyone who purchases a challenge pack can drink Shakeology, work out, read a book, check into the group, and post on social. You don't need to be a coach to do that. What do you do to become a coach is you help others. You grow with others. You encourage others. You inspire others. That's what a coach does. So if you're struggling to get others to join you, maybe it's a simple tweak of it's no longer about you. In the beginning of the journey, what? Just got a pop-up. Okay, let me just undo that. That looked like a hacker. Okay. Oh my gosh. Maybe it looks like you're a customer. If I were to open your social media up today, do I see you drinking your supplements, working out, maybe inspired by a book or a podcast and posting? Is it all about you? Or when I open your social media, do I see you helping others fall in love with the journey, creating consistency in their journey, growing? Do I see other people involved? It's a very, very subtle shift. And it's so possible. You don't even need a team to do it, you guys. You can do it right now by flying on the coattails of the leaders who are building this, who have been building this for many years, as now you're here building this alongside of us. Yeah. I want you to become, after this call, I want you to be inspired to be the kind of person who gets on social media, not just showing you and your journey, but being the kind of person who helps other people achieve their goals. So how do we shift? In this business, my friends, you win when others win. You win, like write that down. You win when others win. You don't get to rank advance if other people aren't enrolling. You don't rank advance if other people aren't rank advancing. You don't get your bod group to grow very big if you don't have people winning on their journey and falling in love, right? And you win when others win. So we're going to look at 3 things. Okay. I'm going to talk about a couple different areas. We're going to go back to this like master list here of what, a coach of self does. And I'm going to give you 3 things for each that you can start implementing literally right now, tonight, to start making it less about you and more about others and what you can offer others. So the first one we're going to talk about with each area is never stop building. Never stop building. This means energy. So never stop building means you always need energy. And I've had many a mentorship call with people. I'm sure those of you on here where we'll talk, and I see Kristen nodding her head. We'll talk and we'll be like, my group, it's like dead. It's like crickets. Nobody's talking. I'm like, well, and this was like back in the day, Kristen. This isn't like baller Kristen, like 2021, 2022 Kristen. This is like 2019 Kristen, who wasn't always hitting Success Club. And so that would be what I'd ask her. When did you hit Success Club last month? Well, no. When's the last time you brought somebody new in? A couple months ago. Okay, that's the problem. And I've had that conversation with a lot of you guys because you have to always be bringing in new energy. The shelf life of a customer, you guys, is like 2-3 months tops. Our average customer that comes in, and I hope this like cures you of all of your feelings of failureisms, because you're not a failure because your customer decides they don't want to do it anymore. You're not a failure because Sally didn't renew her Shaco. You're not a failure because Susie said this doesn't work, even though she didn't work. Okay. That doesn't make you a failure at all. That just is natural because attrition is natural in fitness. It's just natural. People fall off. That's why it's a billion-dollar industry, y'all. People make money off people not doing what they said they would do. If everybody was in health and if everybody was in their top health, these companies wouldn't need to bank on it, right? They bank on the fact that people give up and quit. So we never stop building. Number two that we're going to address with each area is how we can give value every day. When I pour out value, when I can educate, inspire, empower somebody with something that I'm doing in my journey that it might seem so simple, but it's what it might not be simple to somebody else watching me, right? That's the gift that I get to give other people. And every time I give value, I become more and more credible to the people who are watching me. Okay. And the last part that we're going to talk about with each one is keeping it fun, because nobody wants to join something that doesn't look fun. So these subtle shifts are really for you to like get on your social media and start practicing. Okay. I want you to, and here's why I say I want you to get on there and start practicing, because a week from now, next week at this same time, I can already hear what is going to be happening in your head. Well, Brittany, I tried it on Monday and I did it on Tuesday and nobody liked my posts. And then on Wednesday, I invited and nobody responded. And then on Thursday, well, I was just having a bad day, so I didn't do it. And then I forgot. And that's the problem. You have to master the mundane. Some of you guys come to me and say, I don't know what to post about because I'm so boring, or I'm always saying the same things. I know. Half Baked Harvest always gives me a recipe and I still follow her, right? People want to see the same thing from you. That's how you build trust with people. So you have to learn how to master the mundane. If you look at my stories today, they are quite literally the same thing you'll see every Monday. I will show my normal morning routine. I will probably show something in the middle of the day. You will probably hear me talk about team training, and then I'll show you my dinner, and then I do something after team training, and then Monday's done. Literally every Monday, you're going to see something like that. It's very mundane. I could easily say, oh, that's every Monday. People are bored with me, but that's not true. And that line isn't serving you if that's what you're saying to yourself. Discipline is also your best friend. The people who are not healthy and who are not happy, who end up clinging to us for change, they are not happy and they are not healthy because they are not disciplined. Yeah. Discipline sounds like such a dirty, hard, like negative word, like, oh, I don't want to be disciplined, right? And I just recently talked about this because I would much rather be a person of talent. I would much rather somebody like, wow, Brittany is such a talented coach. She's so talented. Look at all the talent. She's just born like that. No, I wasn't. I mean, I've worked my butt off to get where I am because I lacked any and all talent when I started this business. So I just had to get disciplined enough at the mundane things consistently enough over time for it to pay off, to make it look like talent. It's not talent, it's discipline. Discipline is your best friend in this business. And your action, I like to say that your action creates confidence, because I believe it does. When we show up and we do the things that we promised ourselves we were going to do, those goals that you shared, I hope you wrote them down and they're right there in the forefront of your mind. What's exciting you right now? Some of it's to hit SC, and you have 1 week left to do it. And I'm going to be running right beside you because guess what? I'm at a big fat goose egg right now. And y'all know that's not normal for me. So y'all know that in between my ears, there's probably some form of panic happening, right? But you know I'm not going to sink like that. Y'all know the ship's not going down like that, right? So cling to my coattails because I'm going to go somewhere this week. But your action and actually doing that will give you confidence on Tuesday, March 1st. Or your inaction to make that happen will create a lack of confidence come next Tuesday, March 1st. On Tuesday, I will be a much more confident Brittany than I am today. I promise you that. It doesn't just create confidence though. In the confidence, in the action, when you take that action, it also creates clarity. So when I was just joking a second ago that, I know it already, somebody's going to try it on Monday and they're going to, I did it Monday, I did it Tuesday, I was on fire. But then by Wednesday, nobody replied. Nobody liked your post. Everybody's busy. No one has the money, right? you're going to stop taking the action. But action is what creates clarity, because you can't shift or tweak things if you're not clear on what's not working. And you have to do things long enough to know if it works or not. Sometimes it's not that it's not working, it's just you're not giving it enough time. Yeah? So consistency wins. So let's break down these areas. Let's talk about your fitness journey first. I want to share with you guys, these are very recent. I didn't go very far back. I went like within the last month-ish, okay, of content. And this is really just my stories, okay, that I'm going to share from, but you can do this in your posting, and you should, I should also put disclaimer, and you should do this in your posting as well. So your fitness journey, how do we never stop building? Okay, couple things. Number one, my journey, my results are a direct, how do I say this? The results that someone sees me getting is going to directly inspire them to join or not. If you are not getting results, you've stopped building your business within the one thing you need to do, which is your fitness journey. Now, disclaimer, I know we've got some mamas to be on here, right? But that doesn't mean, society has taught us that that means that we shrink to get better. That's not necessarily true, okay? Shrinking doesn't equal success. I just want you to remember that, okay? So I know sometimes progress photos, it's like, okay, they look smaller. It doesn't have to always be like that. And we get to be the people who kind of bring a different light to this topic, yeah? So we never stop building. Number one, on our own journey. If you don't have a transformation to show, you are not on your fitness journey hard enough, okay? Challenge yourself. This is me telling you, go challenge yourself. And only you know what that looks like and what that means for you. The other thing with never stop building is you have to always be asking people to join you. So never stop building could also be a call to action. When's the last time you did a call to action on your social media, in your stories? And I just want to like preface all this. None of these slides that you're going to see tonight will ever have a still shot of like I gave you guys that graphic today of like the spin promo. Yeah. None of these things are going to look like that. Because while those are important, I think that those are important because they look professional and they kind of break up the feed a little bit. Those don't swap out the real deal, which is you, your voice, your home, taking them behind the scenes, right? So those are only paired well when you're in there too. So if all you do is slap up a bunch of like, join my March boot camp slides, 3 in a row, and then you want to do a call to action at the end, and then you're like, no one took my poll. No crap, Sally. I wouldn't take it either. It's boring. Okay. They want to see you. Now, if you had that paired with you talking and all this stuff, right? That's a little different. So never stop building. I fear when I watch your stories, and I love watching your stories, you guys, but sometimes when I watch them, I fear that you've stopped building because you stop telling people what you have to offer. You stop asking. Second part is giving value every day. So in your fitness journey, this can look like so many different things, but I just pulled one. And this is my salad that I made and my water that I was going to have for lunch that day. And in there, I just put a little thing that it was different than yesterday, and that's okay. And I wanted to educate my followers that variety is what helps me stay in the game. I am not your fitness coach that's going to be meal prepping chicken, broccoli, and rice, quinoa, whatever, for lunch for the next 7 days, and then a steak and a sweet potato and asparagus for my dinner prep. Y'all, I've been there, done that, tried that, threw it in the trash can, okay? Threw it in the mother freaking trash can because I can't reheat food like that. Maybe leftovers like the next day, sure, but no, we can't be doing that in my house. So I get bored. And what happens when Brittany gets bored? She orders crazy bread from Little Caesars. Let's be real, okay? I love crazy bread. Oh God, I literally just salivated on 75 hard, you guys. I haven't had crazy bread in 36 days. That's like nothing, right? Okay, I wouldn't survive on Survivor. So But this is me telling my followers, you guys, that I need variety, because if I don't, I will get down with some crazy bread. Okay. And that's me. I'm giving them value, but I'm also being silly and I'm having fun and I'm sharing that this is just real talk, right? And then keeping it fun. You know, these Spin Sister meetups, I think that's been one of the best parts of all of this bike, you know, the bike launching and everything, is having this community to be able to do it with, and to do these meetups and plan these fun events, and then celebrate our new girls when their bikes arrive and all the things, and get swag and all the stuff, you know? And so I think showing that. Now, again, subtle shifts, my friends. You're showing that you're getting on a spin meetup. But sometimes I think it's about you getting on the spin meetup. How do we make it about others? How do you showcase the other people that are on the meetup with you? How do you showcase who we were celebrating or what we were doing? How do you talk about what this bike has done in your journey to make it more fun? Because maybe you hit a plateau, right? Subtle shifts, subtle shifts. Also, do you look like, this is like so silly, but you guys, do you look like you're having fun on the bike? Not when you're riding. Come on, nobody can look good when they're riding, okay? I look terrible. But like, look, I have a smile on my face. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you do a boomerang where you're cheesing? Like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because if you don't look like you're having fun, then no one's going to want to do it, right? Let's talk about Shakeology, supplements, all the above. Never stop building. How do we never stop build? Okay. Two areas with this. I'm going to talk about self and others. With ourselves, how do I never stop building? I'm always educating myself. I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a nothing. Okay. I am a Google University guru. Okay. I can get down with some Google and figuring out, you know, what's fake and what's not. But truthfully, you guys, turning our labels over and educating myself on what's in what I'm using, and then why that works for me. You can't really see because it's kind of tiny, but I talk about the electrolytes and the electrolytes and the hydration in Hydrate that we need in the winter when it's drier out, right? Like our cells literally need hydration. Yeah. So this helps with that. I'm talking about collagen and how, did you guys know? I didn't know this before I researched it, but we don't, as adults and aging women, we don't get collagen back. Once it's gone, it's gone. It's like our eggs, y'all. Okay. Once they're gone, they're gone. You don't renew collagen. So how do we get it as elderly women? I'm calling myself elderly right now. How do we get it, y'all? We have to take a supplement. And so when somebody's like, I don't take supplements, I'm like, okay, Karen, that's cute for you. You don't even know what you're talking about. That people don't know what they're talking about, right? Like you have to take collagen because otherwise you're not going to have it in your body. And why is collagen important? It's what gives you elasticity in your skin. And y'all, I've only learned this, again, I'm not an expert. I just know this from simply studying it. Okay. When Beachbody gives us new supplements, by the way, I research them. I want to know about it. When Energize was brought into our wheelhouse, I didn't know why the fruit punch and the mixed berry were red, and why it looked yellow, but then it turned pinkish reddish once it hit the water. And I learned that there was beet extract in there. Okay, these are things that I learned because I studied the supplement when it came into our wheelhouse. Okay. And then just all this stuff. So I never stopped building. I never stopped building my knowledge base, because it's my knowledge base that then I can pour out and give I can give actual opinions to other people, right? So when somebody asks me about Energize, I can tell them what flavor I like or what flavor I don't like. Okay, I can be very honest about that. And I play around. You know, the other day I said that I do a half scoop of Hydrate, and Leah was like, oh my gosh, I never thought of half a scoop. And I'm like, yeah, you know, because there's sugar in Hydrate and I need it, but I also don't want to have all the extra sugar. So I just do a half scoop and it works. So, you know, just stuff like that, like playing around with your supplements and having fun. Okay. The other part of never stop building is inviting people. You can use your Rise and Jais. You can use your morning mocktail make session to invite other people. Everyone here should have a link option on Instagram now, where you can link for someone to join you. And you should be using it every day. There should not be a day of story sequences that you don't have a link for someone to join you. And what do I usually link it to? Usually it's my Google form. Typically it's my Google form. Okay. But you could link it to everything. You could link it to straight up Energize. If you wanted to just sell somebody a 10-pack sample of Energize, you could link it right there to your Team Beachbody page and have it connect to you as a sale. You could do that, right? Second one is giving value. How do I give value? Okay, share, shake and share, right? You got to share what you're having. I know that for me, I always share my Energize, my Recover, and my Shakeology. I definitely could do a better job of sharing. And so I've been trying to be more mindful of that, but giving value about that, right? How are you making your smoothie today? There have been times where I'll just do a boomerang of like the layers of it before I blend it, like the ice is in there and there's like the almond milk and you can see the powder and like maybe there's some fruit on top or totally a lot of peanut butter sliding down the side. and I'll do like a boomerang of that. And then I can share exactly the recipe that I'm using so that people can see, you know, that what you eat or drink doesn't have to be disgusting, right? Friends don't let friends have bad shakes. And then keeping it fun. That's how Rise and Jives came to be, is I wanted to create a fun way for our team to come together on Friday and not make Friday just like this, I gotta work out or I'll skip it and I'll just wait till Monday. But like, let's never miss a Friday as a team. And let's start it by having fun. Yeah. Okay. Subtle shifts on personal growth and development. So never stop building. Again, you can invite people from your morning routine. Do you know that? You can invite people. Look at this. I snapped a picture of our girls in Win the AM. Here's my Energize, wasn't even blended yet. And I just said, love logging into our virtual gym and seeing these women crush their mornings, want to join us. And here's my link. You could do that, y'all. Now, does that mean that people are going to click it and purchase and join you? Not necessarily, but what is this showing? Because tonight I'm not talking about outcome. I hope you realize that. I'm talking about ownership. This is you owning that you coach others and that you have something to offer, which is something that's been breaking my heart lately with our team, is I think we've shied away from that. There are a handful that I could probably count on one hand of coaches that are owning that they coach others every single day. And the rest of us are just kind of coaching ourselves and wondering why it's not working. And then you feel defeated and you feel like maybe it's you, and it's not you. It's a subtle shift you need to make to show some ownership that you belong here and that you have what it takes to help people because you helped yourself. The second one, for giving value. How can you give value? I do this in so many different ways. Sometimes it's a boomerang. You guys probably see my God, goals, growth, gratitude, right? It's a broken record. Again, I master the mundane. Okay. Every day you're going to see the same stinking stuff, right? But I might show my journal. Maybe I'll show a clip of my book. Sometimes I do a time lapse of me doing my morning routine and a video of that. There's so many, different ways to show that, but giving value. What are you reading that spoke to you today? Sometimes you guys, oftentimes the comments or messages I get in my inbox, a lot of times come from my morning, like, aha, where someone's like, oh, I needed that too. Right? Like more so than anything else I post about. So that's a really great opportunity for giving value. And then keeping it fun. I'm sharing like this, I look forward, this alarm at 5:50, it's 5:54. And if you look behind, it's dark. Like, who cares? Go back to bed. No, it's fun because I've got my squad with me. There's other people head down doing the dang thing. It's fun because I look forward to my pre-workout. It's fun because I look forward to, what my Devo is going to say today, or what my chapter is going to speak into my heart, or what affirmation card I'm going to pull. I make it fun. So if you haven't been having fun in the morning, that's on you. Make it fun, because I find ways to make it fun for myself. Yeah. And I think this is the last one. Yeah. Of community. Okay. The reason this is the last one and I'm not going to do social media is this is all social media. I hope you understand that. So we're covering your supplements, your workouts, your personal development, and your community. And then also a coach of self posts on social media, but let's take that post and weave it through all the other 4 and start to make it about others. Yeah. So let's talk about community. Again, never stop building. You can't stop building your community. Those drought months that you have, it makes it that much harder to pump the well, to get the water flowing again. So even today, just a boomerang. I was talking about some strategy that I have for 75 hard right now, because I've been noticing some people who have been like watching, doing it around me, who are a little further ahead of me, failing, having to start back over at day one because maybe they missed one simple thing, right? And so I'm like, wow, like they're ahead of me. So that must mean that the further along you get, sometimes we get in our comfort zone, we get complacent, and we then forget. So I was talking about that in my stories this morning, but I wanted to drive home that this community is a big reason why I haven't quit. And when I'm watching some other gals have to start back at day one, they're not involved in the Beachbody community. They're just people I've found on social media who are also happen to be doing 75 hard, and they're doing it alone. And that's why on day 48, they forget to take their picture and they end up right back at day one, because they don't have community. So I said that community. I don't do this alone. My husband knows, my squad knows, I have accountability in this, and that is everything. And I said, if you need this, like, join it here. Never stop building. I'm challenging you. How do you get a link in your thing every day? That doesn't mean you link everything. Don't be annoying, Karen, right? Like, don't be annoying, but be present. You have to be present. How do you give value every day about the community? This right here. This right here. This is how you give value. But it's not just like team calls are the best calls. Monday nights are my fave. Why? Sally, why? Tell us why? Okay. And sometimes, that comes with you doing a video after. So I understand if like the stagnant boomerang, when I did with Jared, was just like, has the best stories, one of the most humble humans I've ever met. But I also talked on screen before and after this about Jared and that call. So you might not be getting a full glimpse of it, but with that story, I was able to give a lot of value for people, right? The other thing too, I'll get to this. Let me do this last one, and then I'll say this. And then keeping it fun. I am very, I'm very selfish in this business, you guys. I know I said be about others, but I'm very selfish. Sometimes I just want to have fun. And you know what sounded like fun to me? It was a spirit week for Galentine's. I don't know. It just sounded fun. So I made it up and I did it, right? No one told me, Brittany, you should do it. No one hired me to make a Galentine's Spirit Week. I just thought it'd be fun. You're fully capable of making fun things in your communities too. So if you ever feel like, man, my community's stagnant or something's not fun, how do you make that fun in your community? How do you help keep things fun? And then also, are you showing other people how much fun you're having? It goes hand in hand. So don't just make the fun. You have to show the fun too. Yeah. The other part I was going to say about community is I'm speaking kind of to the leaders now who have, more of a community to serve, is number one, never stop building still counts. You can never be complacent with the community that you have, right? Because that's just not how this business works. Number two, the give value every day. This is also for your community. So having Jared on that call was a way for me to give my community value. So when I'm talking about like these places, sometimes the subtle shift for my leaders, your subtle shift might not just be about how you're showing up on social media, but how are you pouring into the people you have with you? You know what I mean? Because this call is very social media based, of like, how do you go from being a coach of self on social to coaching others and letting people know you have something to offer? But the reason I do some of the things I do is for the value of the people who've already said yes, right? And the reason I keep things fun the way I keep them fun is to keep people around my community. So that's just like a little tidbit answer right there. So going back to this slide right here, you guys, remember, subtle shifts in this business, you win when others win. Yeah. Subtle shifts are, let me stop the share as I land this plane. I don't know if you ever heard of like is it 1 in 60? The 1 in 60 for planes that basically if the nose of an airplane is 1 degree off, for every degree the nose is off, every mile traveled, they will be for every 60 miles traveled, there'll be 1 mile off course. There it is. That's what it is. So the nose on an airplane is 1 degree off. For 60 miles, they will be a mile off of their destination, which doesn't seem like a lot. But over time, that stacks up. And basically, if you were to go from JFK to LAX, you would not land at LAX if your nose of your airplane was 1 degree off. You would land somewhere in the ocean, like 45 miles out, which ends up becoming kind of a problem, right? And so we're grateful when we get on an airplane that the nose of the airplane is not off, right? It's a subtle shift. And it doesn't look like a lot in the beginning, which is why I was joking with you guys that, you might try it this week and you're like, it doesn't work. It's so subtle, you're not going to notice it. None of this stuff today will you notice tomorrow. None of this stuff that I've given you today will you even notice probably a week from now. These are the kinds of things that compound the further you go with them, the longer you practice them. And the more you practice them, that's the kicker, the better you're going to get at it. The more creative you're going to start to feel. You're going to start to try new things. One thing I kind of observed recently is growing up, I will say a skill set that I have. Growing up, I was a dancer, I was a performer. I was always in a room where I either had to watch my instructor and then do what they taught us, or I had to look around at my peers and copy what they were doing because we were in an ensemble, right? And I learned, I guess this was like instilled in me my whole life. I had this like big aha about it, that my whole life I've always been looking around for inspiration and looking around to make sure that I was like matching other people. And not in like a comparison way, but like that's just a skill I learned. So all these things that like, when you see me post something on social media, I just want you to know it's because I've looked around and I've said, wow, I like the way she does that. I want to match that. It's just an observational skill, which all of you guys can cultivate. You know what I mean? So if you're like, man, I'm not creative on social, or I'm just not there yet, I hope you watch me or other coaches on our team or other coaches in the network that you're inspired by and start to consider, how can I match that? You know what I mean? So going back to your goals. I heard, I've got a whole other team call for this, so I'm not going to take too long on this, but I heard recently about the with renewed studies in psychology and the human brain, how unsmart smart goals are. Who here's ever set smart goals? Yeah, and as teachers, I taught my students how to set SMART goals. I don't know if that's something y'all still do in the classroom, but that was very we teach SMART goals, right? And so that's something that I've even taught our team how to do SMART goals before. And then I heard this talk about how it's really not that smart, because our whole lives, you guys, when we're taught these SMART goals, basically a SMART goal, if you don't know the acronym, somebody can probably put in the chat, but the R for SMART is realistic. Okay. And what that teaches us is that if your goals are not realistic, they're not smart. So if I were to tell you today, I'm going to give you a goal of mine that's not realistic. It's just not. One thing I write down every day is that I will own a beach house. It's so not realistic, y'all. I write it down anyway. It's not realistic, so it's not smart. The other thing is that goals should be time bound. That's part of SMART goal setting, is time bound goals. And the problem with that is that when you put time on a goal, if you don't hit the goal in that time, then you must be a what? Yeah, I hear you mouthing it. Failure. And so we're taught in school, I taught this to my students, and I'm like, gosh, how many lives did I damage doing this? I don't even want to know. And I've even taught it here to set these SMART goals, but I think that that's so unsmart, because goals don't have to be realistic. They just have to be something that lights you up inside, that excites you. You know what I mean? And I think right now what's happening, that I'm trying, like, I feel, and I could be wrong, and this is me, I'm just going to be completely transparent, I could be wrong, but I feel like in general on our team, there's a lack of enthusiasm and energy right now. And if I'm missing it, then somebody's got to slap me upside the face and be like, Brittany, you like, you're brain dead. But I'm seeing people who come in and they do what they do in our team, and they come in and listen to the national call and drop their takeaway, and we're doing that. And I see consistency of leadership, and I appreciate that. I'm saying in general, if some of your leaders were to walk away, would the team be silent? If Kristen left tomorrow, would you be able to fill her shoes? If Leah stopped cheerleading all of us, would you be able to step in? You know what I mean? Or are we waiting for some of our leaders to be the ones to inspire and empower? And no. And so I'm not going to get into this whole SMART goal thing any further than that. That's going to come into a team call on a later date. But I was thinking about getting in line. And when I tell you, like, get back in line, like if you've fallen out of line, sometimes we think get back in line means like, I got to get in my place in line. And so maybe you envision the line on our team to be like Brittany, like Kristen, Leah, Annie, Ashley, like you envision this line of people, and then you get in your place. Has anyone felt like they've found a place in line on our team? Yeah, I feel it. This is the thing. I think we're thinking about the line all wrong. This is not the line. This is the line. Remember that picture we took at my house at Summit, and we were all standing in a line in the road with our arms either around each other or linked? That's the line. So when you step out of line, we miss you. This team suffers. There's no one holding your place. And we can see a gaping hole. Have you ever been to like a fun, like one of those fun, Nicolette probably 100% has, but like those like sideshows where like all the dancers are in like one line and they do like the arms and like, you know, it's like a fun effect because like it'll be the first person, the second and third, and they like do the fans or whatever. And they're all in this line. You wouldn't know if the third person was sick that night. You wouldn't know because they're all in a line this way and you only really see the first person. But if we were like this, like the Rockettes sideways, you'd notice if somebody was out of line. So if you've fallen out of line, get your ass back in the line. That's all I can say. Get back in the line. And here's where we're coming back to our goals as I land this tonight. Write down your goal again in the chat. What was your goal that you said? I wrote it at the top. It says, while we wait for it to start, drop in the chat. What goal are you pushing for in your business currently that excites you? SC6, to help someone. Most of them are surrounding hitting Success Club, which I am translating into getting more energy, helping people, building your community, right? Yeah, in general. And then Chelsea, get back in the line, girlfriend. Heck yes. Okay. Here's the thing. Now tell me, why haven't you done that yet? You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. Here's why. I'm going to tell you why. It's not exciting enough. That hitting SC isn't exciting enough to get you back in line. It's a SMART goal and it's not serving you because you've made it, what's that R part? Realistic. And every time it's time bound, every time you don't hit it in the month, what do you think you are? A failure. So then you start to go back to coaching yourself. I hope we're going full circle here. I hope this is all making sense. Okay. We start to go back to coaching ourselves because we don't think we're capable of coaching others. And I'm here to tell you that that's BS. Get back in line and find goals that excite you. Your goal doesn't have to be realistic to me. It doesn't have to be rank based. It doesn't, you guys, I'm so sick of writing down that I want to be 5-star, 10-star, 15-star. I just want, like, I want you guys to have like so much energy. I want a community of people who, like, I could sob saying it, but I built this team because I don't want women to feel alone. I just don't. And I want more of that. And there's not enough of it. And right now I'm like angry about where our team's at because there's not enough of it. I'm not angry because I'm not 5-star or 10-star, 15-star. I'm angry because of the thing that actually lights me up is not happening. So I don't think SC by Friday is lighting you up enough. Otherwise, you would have done it a long time ago. SC doesn't light me up either, by the way, which is why I'm sitting here. I'm right with you. That's not what lights me up. You know what I'm saying? But leading from the front, leading in the trenches, never asking you to do something that I wouldn't first do myself, that lights me up, which is why you know I'll hit SC, because I would never expect anything of you that I don't expect of myself, right? And so I want you to consider that. I want you to start considering what kinds of goals would light you up enough in this business to get yourself back in line, link arms with everyone else, excitedly show others what's possible for them too, because of the things you've already done for yourself. Yeah, that's your homework. Get back in line and start showing others how you can help them because you're capable. Deal?